God in the Old Testament has got crazy ego. I am the Lord. I'm high and lifted up. There's none other greater than me. You know,
no man before
I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. All the silver, all the gold is mine. This is God. This is the voice of God in the Old Testament. Don't that sound like a rapper? I own all the cattle on 1,000 hills. Belong to me. All the silver, all the gold is mine.
Yeah.
What's the difference between him and a rapper flexing what they got?
Right.
But then now Jesus. I've never heard anybody talk about this ego as a subject,
Right.
unless it's been negative. Every time I've heard anybody talk about ego, whether it's on a show or whether it's people in conversation, it's always about how to move the ego out the way so something positive can happen. Every time the ego is brought up, it's always something negative attached to it. It was a conflict. It was a fight. The person was proud or arrogant. It's your ego. You need to get your ego out of the way. But the reality is, everybody got an ego. Like I said on the other episode, my homeboy got that acronym EGO. Everybody got one. So ego is really neutral. It's not negative. So if it's neutral, that means that there should be benefits and downfalls of the ego. But you only ever hear about the downfalls. But today, on OG's Uncut, we're going to talk about the benefits of the ego, the other side of the situation. So what's your opening thoughts on it? You feel the same way? Ego is always something that seems to be negative? That been your perception of it?
Nah, I never. No.
No?
No.
You've heard of ego
I heard what people
in
say.
a positive way.
No, I heard people got I heard an alter ego, but when people say somebody got a ego, when I used to look at ego, I just thought that was just that person, you know.
But you ain't never heard like you got a big ego, like it's a problem, like you got a big head, you're arrogant, you got a big ego.
Yeah, but I didn't know.
Get your ego out of the way.
I mean, well, when people say that, I mean, now that you say it like that, I have heard that, but I didn't know that your ego was part of who you are. As far as, I thought ego, when people say ego, I thought it was something that I had in me that somebody didn't like. I thought ego was separate from who I am. So I was always confused with that. So that's like when you was breaking down ego, I was like, okay, that's everything that's already in me. But when people tell you you got a big ego, I always thought it was like something separate from who I am. I never knew I had an ego. I thought it was something, I just thought my characteristics what made me who I am. I didn't know people like you too prideful, or you arrogant, or you egotistical. And I was like, egotistical. So I thought that was something that I had to work up to. I didn't know I always had it.
Right. Well, you know, I mean, the way I'm looking at the definition of one definition of ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. But like my homeboy Antoine said, ego, everybody got one. It's a matter of how you use it. Like if you got a high sense of self-importance, you just think that you're better than everybody else for no apparent reason. But I call that egotistical. Because everybody got an ego. But egotistical is when you get combative with it, or unnecessarily, or you need to challenge people. You're always going against somebody. It's combative. It's a negative energy around it. To me, that's egotistical. But you mentioned alter ego. I think an alter ego is one of the things that you can create from your ego. Because the ego is just The ego is just the definition of who you actually are. The alter ego is a version of yourself that you can create and project to the public, right? Like a Curtis Jackson and a 50 Cent. 50 Cent's an alter ego, or a Sean Carter and a Jay-Z. But where I'm going with this conversation is I think that when you misunderstand the importance of ego, you forego the benefits of ego. And we see that in sports. You miss out on the benefits of ego when you don't understand the importance. Like, let's take a competitive environment like sports. Let's look at big egos in sports. Michael Jordan, Air Jordan, Kobe Bryant, the Mamba, Allen Iverson, the Answer. Now I'm gonna throw one out at you. Clyde Drexler, what was his?
I think it's Clyde the Glide.
Clyde the Glide. But you seem unsure about that. Like,
no, I know they called him Clyde the Glide.
Clyde
the Glide, but I thought your alter ego, your name can't be in it. So that's why I hesitated saying Clyde the Glide.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not completely separate from who you already are, right? Like, it's not like a superpower.
Yeah.
You know, and you see Clyde Drexler.
They called him Glide, but they never heard
because he floated.
Yeah, but they called him Clyde the Glide. That's why I hesitated.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But his name and his presence isn't big as Michael Jordan. And he and Michael Jordan were in the same time. And arguably, Clyde Drexler was just as cold as Michael, can get up just as high. But Michael Jordan name rings everywhere. Just like LeBron, the king. You know, who else? Let me think of another one that's out there. Somebody who was good, but who ain't necessarily have that alter ego attached to him. Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway was cold, but he ain't got his name don't ring like that because he don't have that alter ego that sets him apart. Because even Shaq in the interview said that Penny Hardaway was Kobe Bryant before Kobe Bryant. Because he said Penny Hardaway came in, he was already him. Kobe Bryant had to work up to becoming the Black Mamba. But now we remember Kobe. But Penny, we got to go research his resume. Like, oh yeah, his numbers do, or his skills do look. And it's because he's missing that alter ego. So with that being said, what do you think of, like, do you think it's a benefit having an alter ego, or do you think it's a disadvantage in a competitive space when you don't have an alter ego?
I mean, nah. You need your best foot forward when you playing in sports, especially if you playing competitively. I mean, all I think when I hear ego is tapping into a source, a power, something that gives you that extra boost or whatever make you play better.
Right.
You know, some people, they gotta go through a ritual for their alter ego to come out.
I like that.
You know, see, that's me.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Think about how LeBron did that little dust thing, and then he throw it up.
Yeah.
I was just watching the game yesterday. Even Jason Tatum had a little something he did, but he's, in my opinion, Jason Tatum's one of them guys who he hadn't really tapped. He's real good. He's a bag of talent, but he hadn't really tapped into that alter ego yet, like that menace inside.
Yeah.
That makes everybody say, "Ah, nah, this his team."
Yeah.
You better pass him that ball on the last shot.
Yeah.
LeBron got that.
Yeah.
That it's the last however long. You better let him make the decision to pass that ball because everybody know he's shooting it. Same with Kobe, same with Jordan. But I would talk more about sometimes you got to go into a ritual to ignite that alter ego.
Well, for me, when I have a ritual, like when I would go to the gym, you know, I get in the gym. I got a certain layout of music that I got. Then, you know, if you want to call it, I used to take a pre-workout, and then I would play my music. But I have a certain type of music that I listen to when I get in the gym, on the treadmill.
Yep.
But then when it came time to hit that iron, I used to like to play 3-6 Mafia.
Ooh.
You know, whoop that trick. You scared. I play music
to
amp me up. Like you scared. So if it's a weight that I know that's gonna challenge me, I'm scared to lift it. I play you scared, ho,
Right,
and then
right,
I just
right,
go up
right,
under there.
right.
And now I'm like, boom, and get it.
Yeah.
So I think everybody got to. If you look at athletes, you all them see them walking
With
around with their heads on.
This is a
They
ritual.
got to play. They got a ritual that they
This
going
is
through.
ritual, but people scared of the word ritual.
Like Steph Curry, before he play ball, he goes up to the thing under the goal and hit it.
Yeah, he'll run up there,
run up real fast, and stop.
Yeah, every time. And people don't understand that these guys are engaging in a ritual.
Yeah, they about to come
and
out.
I like that term, but let's talk real quick. The detour real quick. People are afraid of the term ritual, especially people, religious people or Christians. When you bring the term ritual, people start thinking demonic and all of this. But break down what a ritual is.
A ritual is something that, I mean, a ritual could be anything. It could put you in a place of positivity, or you can use a ritual to put yourself into a negative place. You know, like look at movies. When it's about to be some drama, they play
Right,
or if it's a ghetto, if it's one of our movies, an urban movie, you'll hear them play Get Rich, Die Trying, or they'll play some song that match the mood of the movie.
Right?
The energy, because if you were the person watching the movie, they want you to come in to their world. So when you're doing a ritual, it's preparing you to put yourself in a place of a world for you could be the best in that. Or to be the best in a negative way. Like people got rituals for it to get in the mood to have sex.
I love this because the alter ego, the alter ego has to be fed in order for it to take you into another world, another stratosphere.
Yeah,
like
you can't say it'll come out.
Yeah, like that Lil Wayne song, you know, that you like.
Yeah.
You know, about getting taken out of this world and stuff like that. But you got to
drop
feed the
world
alter
on
ego,
your head.
drop the world on your head. You got to feed the ego, and you got to give it what it needs to wake it up. And see, that's the difference between some of these players. You know, between like a Clyde Drexler and a Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan fed Air Jordan. He gave Air Jordan what it needed, and then when he stepped into Air Jordan, he didn't give a damn what nobody else was talking about. He's that, and everybody got to respond to that. You're not talking to Michael. Clyde, we got this religious value system that makes us overvalue humility.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't really know what to do with ego, because we see ego as inherently negative. And you get some guys who are super talented, but they try to maintain this humble disposition on the court, and they not tapping in to that alter ego.
Yeah.
And they,
I was gonna say too, you can call it a ritual. Some environments will bring some environments make your alter ego come out.
Facts.
If you're in the club, the alter ego party wild out. Like football players, they say, man, he's quiet and everything, but something about when he get on that field, turn on.
Switch turn on.
Because sometimes your environment will cause the alter ego. Like if I'm in the club, and most of the time when I go in the club and I'm not comfortable, my alter ego is not the party. My other alter ego is the mindset when I was in Iraq. I'm in war mode.
Right.
Because of the environment. But my environment can change, and then I get comfortable, and then now the party side of me come out. Right. It could be some things in there that I'm not comfortable with. So this side of me gonna come out because of the environment that I'm in. But if the environment changed, now they like, man, 1 minute you was like this, but now you partying, you loosening up.
So you can spin off the ego, and again we talk about the benefits of the ego, because the ego, when you tap into the ego the right way, the ego can tap into you.
Yeah.
And it can reach deeper into you and allow you to perform on a higher level. A lot of people call it the zone.
Yeah.
And people know that they're entering the zone. That's why ritual is important. Because a ritual is not a spooky demonic thing. The ritual is just a routine that wakes up the alter ego.
I think that's why people say I'm hard to deal with, because in certain places I act different. So I would say I'm a free will person to allow my alter ego or my ego rise when it needs to. I don't control it. Some people control their alter ego. I must be the ones that don't control my alter ego. I must whatever my environment. Now I got an alter ego that I do that I purposely do as my ritual. But then I'm a free floating alter ego. Like if I'm in an environment that I'm uncomfortable and somebody like, man, I know you're not used to this environment, but pretend. My alter ego, I let if I have multiple alter egos, I just don't have one if we talking.
Yeah.
Certain situations, and I let it come out.
A different one.
I don't suppress my ego.
Right.
And people will be like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, man, I'm the environment I'm in, and you're gonna see it. Some people know to hide theirs, but I don't. So now when you said, I say people say I'm hard to deal with, I'm arrogant. That's what it was. I'm not faking the environment that I'm in.
Right.
So my character or my alter ego that's gonna come out. And people are like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, nothing's wrong with me. It's the environment I'm in. Yeah. And some people tell you to hide it or suppress it. Like for instance, like you talk about church. Everybody in church would be like, I'm blessed. Humble. Everybody smiling.
Yeah.
I was going to church, and if something was bothering me, I'm like, no, I'm not happy. Or I'm in a bad mood. But people, so I put it like this. A lot of people go to church with an alter ego, a front. They got their ritual things.
I wouldn't call it an alter ego. To me, it seems like an anti-ego.
An anti-ego.
It's an anti-ego because you're trying to erase your ego. And it's, yeah.
And then you notice in black churches that they never, when it come to tithe and offering, they never do tithe and offering and then play music. They always play music.
To set the mood, to get people, I know how to go, yeah.
That's a ritual. Right. They get people in a place, because if they wasn't in the mood, they want you to get in a Christian mindset, a holy and down mindset, make people feel like the spirit is in you. And then after that, that's to pull that alter ego out of you.
Right.
Because, you wasn't feeling like going to church, but now you got pumped up.
So you're serving the deity of giving, right?
Giving.
Like it's the ritual.
It helps you come out the pocket.
Serve that deity. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So that's a ritual. They want you to come. They say you need to pull up, brother. You need to let the spirit. What they basically saying, we need that alter ego to come out.
Because even the people, I've taken offerings. You know what I'm saying? I've been in church. I've been the guy up there taking offerings.
So we can call it alter ego giving.
It's a ritual, and that's one of the alter egos of Christianity. Can't speak to Islam. I ain't did that.
Yeah.
But in Christianity, in a specific church, you want to serve that larger alter ego of religion or Christ or whatever you want to call it, because you got to pump and prime the people through ritual, like you said. And if you don't do the music, folks ain't giving. Folks are not. I've seen it.
Yeah, I have never been in one church that they ask for offering and they ain't got no music playing in the background, or they not getting people amped up. I never see them give tithe and offering and then play the music later.
Yeah, don't go.
Just like in most black churches, before the pastor come out, they want you to do what? Praise and worship.
Right.
They want you to get in a
Put
zone.
You in the mindset.
They want you to come. So now, once you did it so much, you know how to pull that alter ego out before you get to church. But what really gives that alter ego to come out in church is you going to a church to give you the rituals that they need to get you in that headspace.
That's facts. And the alter ego. The ritual, because we're talking about rituals here. Rituals happen in church.
Yes.
And you don't call it that, but you're doing a ritual.
Yes.
Because it's a routine practice designed to invoke a certain energy that delivers a certain
what they
outcome.
Call a spirit. Certain spirit.
Evoking energy to deliver outcome.
Yeah.
And that music is to get the outcome of generosity. We want people to give. We don't want you to think about it. We want you to feel as if you're serving a higher power, a higher purpose. And even if you're going against your budget, you still going to come out of that pocket. Whereas if the ritual wasn't in play, you might be thinking, well, I got boundaries and budgets that I need to adhere to.
You got time to think.
Yeah, you got time to think, which religion is anti-thinking.
Yeah.
But the ritual is the key. I like that because the ritual wakes up the alter ego. You just can't get out of bed. You wake up with an ego, but then you have to wake up your alter ego with your ritual. When I go to the gym, Young Dolph is my alter ego, spirit animal. I like putting on Young Dolph. When I'm about to do some burpees and I throw on that preach, it's just the energy with it. I'm down, boom, boom, popping up, is giving me an ability to reach deeper and pull down more out of who I am. So it's real. Alter ego is really a spiritual practice. And I'm going to say religion has the, unless you're in leadership with religion, because when you're in leadership, you're on the other side of the alter ego. You're tapping in so you can be the vessel to get everybody up, everybody excited, everybody giving, and all of that.
I guess when if you're in a church or something, it's like you have to do yours behind the scenes. You got to have a ritual that you do behind the scenes before you come on the scene of whatever position, pastor, deacon. Everybody, I think everybody has a ritual, even if they don't know it or not.
Yeah, you may not know it because you don't use the term ritual, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I think this is a spiritual practice and it's not specific to any religion or any spiritual system. It's just human nature to be able to reach down deeper and get a better performance, to get more out of who you are. The alter ego serves that purpose.
Right.
Even in the scripture. Some folks ain't gonna like this one, but I think that Jesus Christ is an alter ego of the Father in the scripture. God the Father is just the spirit, the energy, the essence. Just like Tyree is the essence. He's the original. But T-Rex is the alter ego. Comes out of Tyree, but it takes a specific set of characteristics and puts it forward. Jesus was the same thing. Now, we're talking about interpreting the scripture figuratively, not literally. Jesus was just supposed to be an alter ego of God according to the scripture. What God would be like if he was in human form. So it gave people an opportunity to interact with God, the God of the Bible, in the form of a man. And so then he had the chance to tell you, this is how you should relate to people as a human, right? Figurative interpretation, not the literal. And we all have that alter ego, the Christ within, that higher consciousness or the higher performance, that when you get your rituals in order and you know how to bring that energy up out of you, you're in the zone. And that's all it is, man. I think people should tap into that.
There's nothing wrong with tapping into your ego. People, like I say, some people do it and don't know they're doing it. Yeah. And some people are aware of them doing it. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with an alter ego. Like basketball players, I think some of them need to have an alter ego. Like they call, what's his name? Donovan Mitchell, Spider.
Spider, yeah.
I think they should call him Venom.
Venom.
You know, Jason Tatum, he need to be call himself the Hulk. You know what I'm saying? The Hulk is peaceful, but when you get on the court, you need to be that monster.
Yeah, because he's humble. He's humble in the norm.
What's the old boy that played for the Pelicans?
Zion Williams.
Zion Williams. He need to come on the court and be Thor. You know what I'm saying?
Or Thanos.
No, not Thor, but Thanos. Yeah, Thanos. So there's nothing wrong to tap into those alter egos, especially if it's on the positive side. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I think people that have a problem with people that have an alter ego, I think it's out of jealousy, envy. They wish they don't know themselves enough to even have an alter ego. So I think it's out of hate when people judge somebody because they tapping in their alter ego. When you call somebody arrogant or something like that, I think it's a person that have a lack of confidence.
It might be. I mean, I think it is in some cases. I think it's two other reasons people do it though. Having a religious value system, again, because in Christianity everything is about being humble. Jesus humbled himself, you know, even to the point of death, sacrifice for a greater good. It's this idea that you got to remove yourself out of the way, move what you want out of the way to make way for a greater good. That's the underlying theme in religion, humility. And anything that's not that is arrogant, pride, is demonized automatically. So the religious value system is really anti-ego, which is not good because it's imbalance, right? You need to know when to step out of your ego and when to embrace the ego. And alter ego is just another way of getting a higher level of performance out of you, whether it's good or bad.
Right.
You decide whether it's good or bad. It's not inherently evil.
Yeah.
Like, I think Shannon Sharp had Wallow from Gillian Wallow, $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. Wallow went on Shannon Sharp and he talked about Lil Durk. I think he tried to get revenge on King Von's murder. I don't know the details, but he's in jail now. He's in prison.
Durk.
Right. From what I understand, I've been keeping up like that.
Right.
But he was saying that was an ego thing, right? Durk and them needing to get back. That's an ego thing. And he's probably right. Because those guys they create alter ego. The hood, they create alter ego in sets. This is my set. O Block, Bloods, Crips. Those are all forms of group alter egos. You're a member of this set or whatever the case is, and then a lot of times a lot of the cats have other names. They don't use government names. Those are all forms of alter ego, but it's the dark side of the alter ego. Because the competition is not bringing life. The competition, the competitive spirit usually brings destruction, death, harm.
I was saying certain egos bring positive, some bring negative, but you said Durk. What about Durk with King Von?
I think he...
Were they friends or not friends?
No, they friends. They were like brothers.
Okay,
right?
got
so
you.
King Von got murdered a few years ago, right? And they knew it was a friend of another rapper who murdered him, right? And yeah, it was this whole thing. He was beating this guy up and somebody else shot him while he was fighting, killed him. And so because they come from that Chicago set where O Block and all of that, like they're known to be killers and all of that stuff, they're like, oh, Durk, you got to do something. So now it's like an ego thing. Or you just gonna sit and not do nothing? And King Von even saying in the songs, if I get hit, my fellas better slide and all of this stuff. So it's an ego thing. We got to do something.
Right.
To step out of the ego in that situation would be like, we don't want to perpetuate violence. So somebody has to be the bigger person, right? Or the cycle of violence is going to continue. In that situation, that's stepping out of your ego. But to step into your ego or the alter ego is to say, now we got to get that get back. We got to make a statement. If we don't make a statement, then you're going to take us as weak and we can't have that. That is ego. And it's not bad unless you're doing something bad with it. So in this case, it's a negative thing. Right. But like we described, there are many cases and when you need to embrace the alter ego. And let me throw this one out there. J. Cole in the Drake and Kendrick beef. I don't know if you remember that, but the beef started out with J. Cole and Drake being on a song, First Person Shooter. And they said the big three. I think J. Cole might have said, we the big three. Drake, K-Dot, and me. We the big three. And Drake was like, I'm big as the Super Bowl. But J. Cole was like, we the big three, but right now I'm feeling like Muhammad Ali. Right? So he like, yeah, we the three, the top dog, but I'm feeling like the greatest. So everybody flexing that alter ego is competitive. Now Kendrick came back, flexed his alter ego, competitive. He did that song with Future and Metro Boomin, and he said, mother effer big three. It's just big me. So he responded, I'm wiping y'all off. I'm the one. And that's how the beef started. So now Drake fired back, Kendrick fired back, J. Cole fired back. Now when J. Cole fired back, he took it back. He said, wait a minute. I put that out. I dissed Kendrick, but he stepped out of his ego. And a lot of people shit on him. Like, you should have stayed in there. You should have kept battling.
Now, how did he take it back? He just admitted he was wrong.
He admitted that he shouldn't have did it
in the song.
He did a concert, right? And he was like, I got love for Kendrick. I got love for Drake. This and that. I should have never released that song because he put it out. I think he put out a little album and he called it Might Delete Later, right? So J. Cole is in a different headspace than Drake and Kendrick. Right. Even though Kendrick is not like as flashy as a Drake, he still wears chains and he still flexes alter ego. Whereas J. Cole, when you listen to him and look at him, you can tell he's in the space in life where he's trying to evolve in a way that pushes his ego aside. So when that he got in a competitive environment, and then he had that negative interpretation of ego, so he stepped out of the competition. And a lot of people was like, it's a competitive sport, rap, you should have stayed in. But he was trying, and I think the way J. Cole thinks is the way a lot of people think when it comes to maturity and spirituality. The ego is negative, you got to move it out the way.
Right.
But I disagree. That's maybe just where he is, right? And there's a time to move the ego out the way. But in my opinion, that was not the time for J. Cole, even though it went crazy with Drake and Kendrick and everybody loved the whole they're not like us and stuff, but that's the time to flex.
Right.
Your J. Cole is your alter your alter ego.
Right.
Go box. Go flex. Show them what you do. But it's that religion, it's that religious mindset. Even if you don't go to church, it's that stuff that was put in you from when you was little that makes you shut down that alter ego and then bow out humbly because you think that this is a virtue when in reality, nah, it's time to flex. It's time to get it on.
Nah, I mean, like I say, man, everybody got one, and
everybody got one.
Everybody got one. That's like you said, your boy said it. Everybody got one. And I think it's a downfall when you let somebody tell you what to do with your alter ego. Yeah. Now, if you choose to shut it down, then that's different. But if you let outside interference dictate, because I'm pretty sure when J. Cole came out and did that, I'm pretty sure it was people in his ear. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
And probably, you know what I'm saying? I don't think he tapped out because he probably couldn't rap or his skills is better than Kendrick. I don't think it was that. I think some people got in his head, and when he said that in his song, he was being J. Cole. That was his alter ego. But somebody might have gotten his head. I don't think he got in his head. I think it was some outside interference or some words got sent around and it got to him, and he apologized for it.
He did apologize.
See,
he got lit up for that.
He got lit up. See what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying. If that's your alter ego, and you didn't mean no harm at it, and fuck it, even if I don't say he meant good or bad. That's how he was feeling at the time.
Yeah.
And if that's what came in your head,
you gotta let it rock.
Let it rock.
It's a competitive sport. Yeah. But I think
that just didn't come from nowhere.
It didn't. Yeah. I think that his I think him pulling out again. When you observe J. Cole, after we get done, I'm gonna play his latest song. He killed it. But when you listen to what he's talking about, you can see that he's trying to live life outside the ego. And to him,
your ego
this
got
is
you
evolution. Yeah.
Your ego got you where you're at.
I agree. We think that killing the ego is the way to go. But no, your ego only dies when you go. When you die, you ain't got no ego.
Yeah,
your spirit, your soul reintegrates back in with the universe.
Yeah.
Your body reintegrates back in with the ground. Mm-hmm. There's no ego. Your essence is no longer captured in the body.
Yeah.
So as long as your ego is here, you're supposed to choose when to use that ego.
And if him and Kendrick, I said, even if they battled each other or whatever, whoever ego or alter ego wins, that's because that's what the universe wanted it.
That's all it is.
I mean,
man.
why are you afraid? See, back in our day, competition was healthy.
Right.
And now, when it comes to the rap game, the only reason you got rap is not healthy is because too many people are dying.
I would agree with that.
And that's why people probably came at him like, man, you don't know how far that's going to escalate.
Right.
We don't know because it's a stigma on rap now.
Right.
So when it comes to rapping, it's some rappers that can rap and just leave it at rapping and it won't go no further.
Some people take it further.
So a lot of people, but I think with Kendrick and with J. Cole, I don't think it wouldn't have went there. Because they're lyricists.
Yeah.
And neither one of them playing like a thug role. So they should have let that shit ride out. But now it's skill against skill, like Jay-Z against Nas.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It's skill for skill. And
that
was just a competition. Jay-Z and Nas.
He didn't say nothing violent. He just said, I'm Muhammad Ali.
But I think that like you said, J. Cole was probably thinking about the outcomes, and you know, sometimes as Black people, you start thinking, and we deal with sometimes we forfeit our ego prematurely because we know there is a stigma out there about us, about not being able to unify, always fighting, always in a negative competition. So I think those are kind of thoughts that was getting to him that made him say, you know what, we don't need to be fighting, we need to show unity and all of this stuff. But I think that unity can be unity. We don't even understand that for real. The way we be putting unity out there is corny. Like unity and competition can't exist. Competition is the one that helps you reach, dig deeper, perform better, and create better, create more. We need to unify. Unity means having a common goal, a common purpose, a common code. It don't necessarily mean everything always being nice and fuzzy and in harmony. That is not what unity is. Oh, yeah. And I think we got that confused.
And I hate it when people can have a healthy conversation and everything, but I'm not gonna say healthy conversation. What do people do? We can have a conversation, but people think it's an argument.
Right.
And it's like everybody is so sensitive now.
Yeah.
It's like we're not arguing, we're just having we're gonna say a healthy debate.
Yeah, it could be a debate. Like some people, it's just like confusing a debate with an argument. And I used to tell people, I've been told before, you like to argue. Nah, I like a healthy debate.
Yeah.
Right? It's a difference. Right? A debate has got a goal. The common goal is growth. Because if we're exchanging opposing ideas and you show me where there's a flaw in my thinking and vice versa, then it's iron sharpening iron.
Exactly. But an argument, neither one of us is going nowhere.
I'm not trying to argument. I'm not coming at your perspective. I'm coming at you.
Exactly.
I'm tearing you down. And I think that's where J. Cole and a lot of people who feel like ego is a negative thing, they feel like it's personal and I'm attacking the other person. Nah, it's alter ego and alter ego. We're sharpening one another.
And let's see who got the coldest lyrics. And they can rap and speak without having no violence in it.
Right.
They just showing, to me, when I see like a Kendrick Lamar and a J. Cole, I'm looking at who got the coldest vocabulary.
Right.
That's it. Who got the coldest vocabulary, and it makes sense what they're rapping about.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of rappers out there that can do that no more.
Yeah.
They have to use something from the street, and it seems like they all rapping about the same thing.
Facts.
Drug field. Kendrick, J. Cole, they can rap about anything. You can talk about us, hey, we're gonna make a song about the safari, and them niggas will come out with a cold ass song rapping about all the animals in the jungle. That's a lyrics to me. Like you can tell them, hey, we're gonna talk about politics, and their whole song is about politics.
That's old school right there. That's some Papoose stuff. Papoose took the whole alphabet and went down from A to Z and rhymed the whole. He was some kind of word he'd go around it all the way down.
And make sense.
Yeah, but see, you know why rap has become stigmatized is because it got too real.
Yeah.
Because of the competition with the alter egos in hip hop, it always was a competitive sport. Big Daddy Kane was competitive. Yeah. He was like, I'm the best. Can't nobody touch me. We go way back. Special Ed, Kool Moe Dee. It's competitive, right? Yeah. But then after Tupac was killed, and then Biggie was killed, and you got this West Coast, East Coast beef, it took the competition in a new direction. Who's more real? I really do this. I'm not a rapper, I'm a trapper.
Now look where it is now. Everybody's
right. So now everybody's trying to one up the next person to be more real. I'm really doing that. I really did it. I'm a killer. I'm this and that. It's all ego out of control. Alter ego out of control, right? And society and the industry keeps feeding that. It keeps feeding that model. When we don't need that model, we can still have the competition without the killing. We can still go for who's the realest, who's the coldest, all of that stuff, but it ain't got to spill over into the streets. And that's the difference. you regulating the ego. You can take it to the light, or you can take it to darkness. But either way, it ain't nothing wrong with having that ego. And ain't nothing wrong with Donovan Mitchell, like you saying, instead of being Spider-Man, he being Venom on that court. You know, Zion Williamson being Thanos, because he definitely got the makeup to be a Thanos, to come and kill everything.
Jason Tatum, the Hulk.
Being the Hulk. You know, he come out there, put his little son down, put his son on the sideline, and switch modes.
And turn green.
But maybe what guys like that are missing is their ritual. The ritual that puts them into that headspace. Because I think some guys maybe have the wrong ritual before competition. You know, I watched Jason Tatum and Donovan Mitchell played each other last night. Cleveland won. But I wasn't paying attention, but I noticed his ritual. He did something with his jersey like this in front of the stands. I don't know if he did the powder in the hand thing, but then I seen him do almost like a prayer type thing, like kind of like a, you know, an acknowledgement of his God and his belief. And I feel like that's the wrong ritual going into a competitive space. When you're going into a competitive space, you're not trying to do nothing that dials you down and makes you humble. You're trying to do something that turns you up and brings out the savage. You don't want to be, God be with me, I'm thankful. We already know you're thankful. God already know that. Turn the animal on. Turn on the beast. So I think to some degree it's a misunderstanding of the ritual that's blocking guys from tapping into that alter ego.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Last thoughts?
I don't see nothing wrong with it. I just think being an alter ego is being your true self. You're not separating yourself from that. You know what I'm saying? And I think people should use it. Don't be scared to use it. Don't be ashamed to use it. Don't allow nobody to tell you to turn it off. Some people don't even know themselves they even have an alter ego.
That's facts.
You know what I'm saying? And I think those are the ones that label you, that say you this and this, because most of the time when people, this is how I look at it. When people going around judging people and saying something about somebody else, they don't know themselves to create an identity for themselves, or they just lack the confidence.
That's facts.
That's what I see. Most people that don't judge people, they confident about themselves and they have an alter ego.
They're not afraid to step into it.
And they're not afraid to step into it. Anybody that's judgmental, like Christians, they're not even confident in themselves because they're not even confident. They're really not confident in themselves because they allow somebody else to give them that false confidence.
Yeah. And it's
Christians, the first one to just look at him, he's this, he's arrogant. Oh, look, the devil got a hold of him.
A lot of labels.
A lot of labels.
Whole lot of labels.
They're not confident.
Arrogant, pride comes before destruction, all this kind of stuff, because they've embraced this value. They've embraced an anti-ego
that's not even them
value system. Yeah, because being humble, even it's a misunderstanding of what it means to be humble. Yeah. Being humble means just being who you really are.
Yes.
If you're strong, be strong.
Yeah.
That is being humble. That's who you really are. It's not pretending and dialing yourself down and making yourself less than to make other people come. That's not being humble. No. That's being dishonest.
Yeah.
Being humble is being who you really are, embracing who you really are.
Yeah.
And acknowledging that under certain conditions, certain environments, and maybe certain conditions that you create, you can catapult your performance.
Yeah.
You in another stratosphere in certain areas. With that alter ego, it's just tapping into you and dialing up a certain part of you.
Yeah.
It's like when I get in front of a microphone. I don't like spotlights.
You see people. I see it. Christians now. Why is he acting like that? And it's like, what is he doing that's so wrong? Well, I don't like how he did this or how he did that. Is it hurting you? And is it hurting him? No. Is it bringing joy to other people's lives, but it's not bringing joy to you? You. I just saying that's Christians. That's people that's non-Christian. Those the haters, and then it's for Christians. What I just said.
But even ego in the Bible, it's a big difference between God in the Old Testament and God, Jesus Christ, in the New Testament, in terms of how God in the Old Testament has got crazy ego. I am the Lord. I'm high and lifted up. There's none other greater than me. You know,
no man before
I own the cattle on 1,000 hills. All the silver, all the gold is mine. This is God. This is the voice of God in the Old Testament. Don't that sound like a rapper? I own all the cattle on 1,000 hills. Belong to me. All the silver, all the gold is mine.
Yeah.
What's the difference between him and a rapper flexing what they got?
Right.
But then now Jesus come on the scene, not on a horse, on a donkey, humble and lowly. That's two different things. They're supposed to be the same. Jesus Christ is same yesterday and forevermore.
Right.
So they're trying to say that Jesus really pre-existed before he came in that body, but he's not like the God in the Old Testament. They completely different.
Yep.
He turning the other cheek. God running up in your house. God running up in your house saying, give me what you got.
Yes.
And Jesus is saying, turning over the table saying, you shouldn't be selling nothing here. You know, like it's a completely different, you know. So, hey, that's one thing I think about sometimes when a Christian, you know, calls me arrogant or talks about ego. I'm like, well, I'm being like your God in the Old Testament.
Yeah.
Beating his chest. In fact, he's saying, worship me. Lift your hand up. Speak well of me. I mean, that's, hey. But yeah, man. So, alter ego, everybody got one. You've heard conversations about ego being a negative thing. I think this is the first time you heard it in terms of benefits, that you should embrace your ego. Your ego is a superpower. Your alter ego is your superpower. But like T-Rex said, you have to know yourself, man, know thyself well enough to know what ignites your superpower. What puts you in the zone? Is it a music? Is it environment? Is it circumstance? It's something that draws out the strength in you. That is what you want to learn to be intentional about. It's a spiritual practice, and you can use it for good. It doesn't have to be negative. Ego doesn't have to be a negative thing. It's only negative when you make it negative.
And what I like about what we talking about, what we pointing out, that nobody can mimic you when you got an alter ego. It's yours.
That's facts.
Nobody can do it like you. Somebody can come close.
They can try.
But it's something missing. You know what it is? You, not me. That's what's missing.
That's the greatest superpower you got, man. Your
And as far as our culture, with our ethnicity, there's other ethnicities that can try to mimic it.
You taking it there.
That's my closing remark.
I feel you. Go ahead, hit it.
Y'all can mimic it all y'all want.
But you can't do that.
But you're going to always miss it. It's something missing.
They not
it's
like
just
us.
like you can watch your mama,
they not like
your grandma
us.
cook it, and then it still don't come out right. Why?
Come out right,
because
bro.
you're not grandma.
You not grandma.
You're not your mother.
They not like
you can measure it to a T, it still just don't taste.
They can do it. You can put on all the clothes, you can put on the jewelry, but they ain't like us. You can't do it like us. The key ingredient is the spirit.
The energy behind That's why you can't cook like that. The love that she put into it. The energy, all the essence is in that food.
That's right.
So hey,
that's right.
You can't copy it.
And everybody is their own recipe. You know, God created you.
Like nobody can mimic this show, OG's Uncut.
And that's why we confident in our material. Even though we're new and we don't have a lot of subscribers right now, we come and we do it faithfully because we know what we cook can only be served here.
Yep.
Period.
And it's just a matter of time.
But good closing remarks. With that being said, y'all make sure you don't watch and hide, like and subscribe. Until next time, we out.
Peace.